Hebrews 10:36, there's a passage that says, you have need of endurance. And in times like these, this is a key thought. It's been something that's been on my mind for the last week or so, and I wanted to talk about it just a little bit. Endurance. Just turned 54 this last week. It was rather uneventful with all of the quarantining and shelter-in-place stuff that's going on. But it's been a good time of reflection. And speaking of endurance, I'm not an athlete. I was never an athlete in school. If there were a third string in our little school, that's where I would have been. I was never really great with athletics, but I enjoy the movement. I enjoy what it does to me as the chemicals are released in my body that causes my head to think a little clearer. Just very practical stuff. But I over the last couple years have seen the value of endurance training, and so I've kind of become a student of it to a degree, more than I've done it because of injuries and stuff like that. But there's a principle there that goes along with this passage, and there's a couple things that I want to mention in regards to that. And I wanted to just lift this up here. It's not like a great big pile, but it's a few things that I've done as far as endurance running and that sort of thing. But there's one that stands out above the rest that's the special one to me, and this is one that I got a while back. Is that marathon. It's the only 26.2 mile marathon that I'd ever done, and there are a few things that helped get me through. One is I did a lot of reading and studying and understood that you needed to do a lot of miles before you tried to undertake the 26.2 in one bite. And so we spent a lot of time for about 6 months prior just prepping for that and building up mileage over time, getting myself adjusted. The challenge for some of us on a very practical level in regards to endurance with our faith is possibly in the last couple of weeks, you're starting to be stretched beyond where you were. But that one particular medal, this one that is so special for me, is because it also is the one that required the most pain. It's definitely the most memorable one because it was the longest, the most painful one, and also because one of the reasons why I finished it, because the last few miles, man, it hurt like crazy. But one is I told people I was going to do it, and number two is I had people with me, and point number three is that I knew that there were those waiting at the end of the race for me. And I want to just take those simple principles and look at that real quick for a devotional today. One is that I said I was going to do it. And so with our faith, the Bible says, let our yea be yea and our nay be nay. That means we've committed to be a believer and a follower of Christ, and we're sticking to that commitment. We're not quitters. We're going to stop at times. The righteous man stumbles, but he gets back up. Not saying that I didn't trip and fall. I didn't say that you and I don't trip and fall, but we get back up. And so we said we're going to do it. So during this season, let's just recognize that quitting is not an option. We take that off the table. We're moving forward. Number two is that I was so blessed that I had people with me. I had a dear old friend with me who had ran a marathon, but multiple marathons before, and he ran this one with me. And then I had Keegan with me, and it was his first as well. And so we encouraged one another along the way. And so we just continually, we were with each other the whole way. Now, toward the end, I let Keegan go on ahead. I saw that he had the ability to go on and make a better time. So at about mile 16, 17, I said, you go on ahead. And so he did. And I knew that he would finish and he would be there waiting for me. And so with these points, I want to say this, is that endurance is going to help us, and it's going to help us as we recognize that, one, we need people with us along the way, so don't be isolated. Take time to encourage one another. And the third thing is that know that there are people that are going to be watching you and expecting you to do well. And so I know that there are those, and there are those that of the faith that I knew in years gone by who have already gone to meet the Lord. And Hebrews talks about that great cloud of witnesses. And so they are there, they're watching, they're expecting us to finish and to finish strong. And so in this season, understand that you may not be getting out from underneath your challenge, but you can endure it. And so I encourage you to recognize that you need somebody with you. You said you were going to do it, so let's move forward with our faith. And third is there are people that are watching, even those that have not gone on before, they're watching to see how you respond in this time of crisis. And so understand that you do have to endure. It's going to be hard, but you're going to win. And so I just want to speak that to you today and say go, and go strong, and know that God's on your side. God bless you. We love you. Have a blessed day.